Hey there, welcome back. It's time once again for the Golden Age of DC Comics 365 Days, where I take this well-loved coffee table book given to me by one of my best friends about 2 decades ago. It's been surfing my coffee table ever since. It's a great source of conversation, and I thought it would make a great YouTube content talking to you about comic books. I love talking about comic books. The Golden Age of DC Comics runs from 1938 to about 1955. The Silver Age between 1956 and 1970. The Bronze Age from 1970 to the mid 80s. And then things start getting a little interesting with defining the ages. But at least we can say with certainty the Golden Age is from the 30s and 40s. It was right after the Great Depression and during World War II. And it was the introduction of this modern mythology of superheroes, these American gods and goddesses, a pantheon and of pop culture. And it's really interesting because they perpetuated and we still love them today. So let's get to it. It's April the 30th, and we're going to open this page-a-day book, go to today's date. We're going to read the blurb and look at some comic book art, and then we're going to talk about it. And that's what we do on this show. How you doing today? I hope you're feeling awesome and doing awesome. Every day is a good day to read a comic book and find out something new about something they love. And this one's about Superman with Siegel and Schuster. And I'll read the blurb. And the story is by Jerry Siegel, art by Joe Shuster, from Action Comics number 28 from September of 1940. We have not yet entered World War II. And in this story from Superman's early days, a circus strongman is implicated in a series of robberies, but it turns out that a conniving clown is actually the culprit. As for the beautiful trapeze artist plummeting to her doom, the truth is that she never appeared in this adventure at all. But someone involved in producing this issue evidently thought that she might sell some comic books, so here she is. And it's Superman, and it's before the diamond shape took hold on his chest, on the iconic super sigil of the one of the world's most recognized pop culture images is that Superman S. And we've already gone into detail in previous episodes about the super font. Exactly. See the shaded font? That's like, you could have that on the side of a van and be like, Super Plumber, and you would evoke this Superman. But let's read the blurb, too. Superman, dynamic defender of law and order, encounters a man of brawn who uses his great strength to defeat justice. Result, a thrilling battle of wits and muscle in which Clark Kent, meek Daily Planet reporter, plays a vital role. So yeah, I love the stories where it's Clark Kent's brains that saves the day. And ultimately, Lois comes to accept him for Clark, and not just being Kal-El, which is also that archetypical love story between Lois and Clark, and that's being retold even to this day. There's even a new show on the CW called Superman and Lois, and they're married, and it's a little in the future, and they have 2 teenage boys. One seems to have powers, and the other seems to not. Adventures ensue, and I heard it's pretty darn good. But I want to bring up the idea of Clark's vital role, the Daily Planet, and a Daily Planet reporter's vital role. And because a big part of Superman is the American experience, about being an immigrant, about being included. Everyone knows that Superman is an alien, and he's reviled sometimes by some certain people, and he's really accepted by most, and he's a product of an American farm life and the farmer's mentality of 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 Jonathan and Martha Kent in Smallville, Kansas, and it's wonderful. It's about nurture, not nature, and Superman's just this wonderful story. Yet one of the taglines that Superman has been truth, justice, and the American way. And just the vital importance. I love the Daily Planet. Why? Because it is actually a very important. It represents the free press, which is part of the American experience. You know, we have the judicial, the executive, and the legislative branches, but we have this unspoken fourth branch in the checks and balances system, and that is the free press. And to have Clark and Lois and Perry White and Jimmy Olsen, you know, this entire ensemble of journalists, and journalism was a bit more of a science in this golden age as well. Newspapers were big business. It is now as well, and we still have the same accusations of yellow journalism. I bet you can probably call it rainbow journalism by now. But I've been using this term twice, and it comes actually from comic books itself. And yellow journalism. It came from like tabloid journalism, where yellow journalism and yellow press are American terms for journalism and associated newspapers that present little to no legitimate, well-researched news, while instead using eye-catching headlines for increased sales. Techniques may include exaggeration of news events, scandal mongering, or sensationalism. By extension, the term yellow journalism is used today as a pejorative to decry any journalism that treats news in an unprofessional or unethical fashion. And that's from the wiki. And we suffer from that today. We call it clickbait. We have news cycles. We have the 24-hour news cycle, which didn't exist back in this golden age. And this came from the Yellow Kid, and it was called Yellow Kid journalism, referring to the then popular strip in 1898, and because they would have different colored, what was it here? Sorry about that. First, that the yellow journalism and school of Yellow Kid journalism were already used by newsmen at the time. It was possibly a mutation and a slander where Wardman twisted new journalism into nude journalism. Wardman also used the expression Yellow Kid journalism, referring to the then popular comic strip, which was published by Pulitzer and Hearst during a circulation war. And we call them yellow because they are yellow, meaning coward. And I don't think there's a racial connotation there. It was more about bravery. It's very cheap and cowardly to distort the truth and to try to rabble rouse, people into a state. But it sounds like today, in a way, doesn't it? But I love the Daily Planet. I love the idea of it. It's so iconic. The building itself, it has a model of the planet Saturn on top of it. That was so space age. That was like this Art Deco style before its own time. It was, nothing else looked like that. It's the Daily Planet is a character in its own sense. It's such as the Batcave or the Fortress of Solitude or the island of Themyscira, where Paradise Island, where Diana's from, Wonder Woman, things such as that. But the Daily Planet, I truly think this. It's in having Clark and Lois solve problems and using the free press, and that is part of truth, justice in the American way. And that is part of the American experience, is the free press. And that it really, truly is an unspoken fourth part of our government. It really is. It's part of the checks and balances. And we really need to appreciate the science of journalism. Journalism is a science. It asks questions. It's merciless. It cuts the fat away. It doesn't have an emotional, thing to it. It shouldn't appeal to emotions. It should appeal to who, what, where, when, how, and why. And to have a thesis statement, a good lead, a well-structured, reporting of events, and well-researched. And we are besieged with so much information all the time from our tablets and from our culture that we might have slipped into a new era of yellow journalism. Yeah, and I think I would call it rainbow journalism at this point, because to be funny and to be clever and to have a pun with a punch, because it would be unfair just to give it one color. It rides a spectrum of things, and it represents, this moving the needle or whatnot. What do you think? I love Superman. Growing up, I've kind of mellowed. You can see in the background there, that's Gotham City skyline. I love Batman. But the older I get, the more I have an appreciation for Superman. And let's look at this art one more time. Here's Superman. Before he could fly, but he could leap tall bounds. Something like that. And but yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we will figure out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Like and subscribe if you could be so kind. I make daily content. We talk about comic books, and you also talk about spirituality. You make gratitude lists and Sunday sermons. I'm an ordained minister, an amateur theologian. We get spiritual here. Hashtag lighten up. Exactly, huh? And also, I'm a professional chef. I share cooking hacks. Delicious, nutritious, and beautiful food. There's a playlist called What's Cooking. Check me out. And I hope to be part of your YouTube day and earn your subscription. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and I will see you tomorrow. Good luck, namaste, and God bless.